After 50, a strange kind of emptiness can appear when the people who once depended on you no longer need you in the same way. The children call less often. A demanding role at work ends. A parent you cared for is gone. A relationship changes. Even ordinary days can suddenly feel too quiet. And when the requests stop, you may discover an unsettling question underneath them: if no one needs me right now, what am I for? For years, being needed can become more than a responsibility. It can become a measuring system. You know your value because someone is asking for your time, your advice, your money, your attention, your patience. The request gives you a role, and the role gives the day a shape. So when life changes, the loss is not only practical. You may also lose the feedback that once told you, over and over, that you mattered. Psychologists sometimes describe this through the idea of contingent self-worth, when a person's sense of value becomes tied too closely to certain conditions, roles, or forms of approval. That does not mean caring for others is unhealthy. Caring can be deeply meaningful. The problem begins when usefulness becomes the main evidence you accept as proof that your life has value. Imagine a woman in her early 60s who spent decades being the person everyone called first. She organized holidays, solved family problems, remembered appointments, helped with grandchildren, and carried responsibilities at work. Then retirement arrives. Her adult children become more independent. At first, she says she wants the freedom. But when an entire afternoon passes without anyone asking her for anything, she feels restless instead of relieved. Her first interpretation might be painful: I am becoming irrelevant. But there is another possibility. The silence is not proof that her purpose is disappearing. It may simply be the first time in years that purpose is no longer being assigned to her by other people's needs. That distinction matters. Being needed is external. Purpose is not always external. A need arrives with urgency. It tells you what must be done. Purpose is quieter. It often asks what is worth doing even when no one is demanding it from you. This is why the transition after 50 can feel confusing. For much of adult life, necessity creates momentum. Workplaces need decisions. Families need care. Bills need paying. Problems need solving. You can move for years without ever having to ask what you would choose if obligation became less dominant. Then one day, the structure weakens, and freedom does not immediately feel like freedom. It can feel like absence. But absence can reveal something important. If your identity has been organized around usefulness, rest may feel undeserved, pleasure may feel frivolous, and curiosity may feel unproductive. You may even create new emergencies for yourself because urgency is familiar. Helping everyone can become a way to avoid confronting a harder question: what matters to me when I am not performing a role? The deeper shift is not from being useful to becoming selfish. It is from borrowed purpose to chosen purpose. Chosen purpose can still include other people. You can care for family, mentor someone, volunteer, support a friend, or contribute to a community. The difference is that these actions are no longer the only place where your worth lives. They become expressions of who you are, not tests you must keep passing. That changes how you recognize meaning. Instead of asking, "Who needs me today?" you might notice a different set of signals. What absorbs your attention without draining your dignity? What kind of contribution feels meaningful even when nobody praises it? What have you postponed because it did not seem useful enough? What part of yourself only appears when there is no emergency to manage? These are not small questions, and they do not require dramatic answers. Purpose after 50 may not arrive as a new career, a grand mission, or a life-changing revelation. It may begin with something much less visible: learning a subject you have always cared about, making something with your hands, becoming more present with people instead of constantly rescuing them, walking regularly in a place that restores your attention, or giving time to a cause because you chose it rather than because guilt pushed you there. There is also a difficult emotional adjustment. When people become accustomed to your constant availability, they may not celebrate your change. If you stop volunteering for every problem, someone may call you distant. If you protect an afternoon for yourself, someone may think you have changed. And they may be right. You are changing the contract. For years, the contract may have been simple: I know who I am because I am useful to you. Now the new version becomes, I can care about you without making your dependence the foundation of my identity. That is the main inversion. Purpose does not always disappear when people need you less. Sometimes the old measurement system disappears first. And that can create room for a different kind of life. A life in which contribution still matters, but so do curiosity, presence, integrity, creativity, friendship, learning, and the ability to choose where your energy goes. A life in which a quiet day is not evidence that you are unnecessary. It is simply a day that has not been assigned to you yet. So if purpose feels harder to find after 50, the answer may not be to make yourself more indispensable. It may be to notice how often you have confused being necessary with being meaningful. The next time an empty afternoon feels uncomfortable, resist the urge to fill it immediately with someone else's problem. Ask what the discomfort is measuring. Is it loneliness? Boredom? Habit? Or is it the old belief that your value only becomes visible when someone needs something from you? You do not have to eliminate that belief in one moment. Just notice it. Then choose one small action that matters even if nobody requested it and nobody applauds it. That is where purpose can begin to return, not when the world gives you another role to perform, but when you discover that meaning can survive even in the hours that belong entirely to you.